Hello, family. Welcome to the Irvin Law Show. It is Saturday, October 23rd, game day at the mighty Vet, the home of the Jackson State University football Tigers, the Blue Bengals. As we know it, the dark side defense, the offense that can and will empower things to happen. So, another game day, and we're back. I am going to be joined a little bit later by the rest of the crew. Hopefully we get Kennedy, the intern, back as she recovers from homecoming. So hope to see her a little later this morning. Charles, maybe get him a little later this morning too. I know he has some running around to do, but I definitely wanted to come to you and deal with some issues that are going on and talk to you. So we don't like to miss the opportunity. We don't take for granted the opportunity we get to come and speak to you. So usually on Friday, but today this is a Saturday morning episode. So you see behind me those Blue Bengals of Jackson State. First thing I wanted to say, what an amazing homecoming week last week. I had the opportunity to make it back and participate, and just an amazing opportunity to see the Vet packed again as it was in the 90s when we were in school. To see the atmosphere, to see the energy of old back even better. It was amazing to see. It was refreshing to my heart. It was refreshing to my spirit. It was really exciting to see the energy and what I call the soul of Jackson State back in terms of athletics. So excited about that. We are also getting ready to kick off the basketball season, and I do want to salute the Jackson State University women's basketball team for being selected preseason number one. Picked to finish number one in the conference. And as you know, last year they finished, the last 2 years, they finished number one. And then last year they went on to get a berth in the NCAA tournament and competed in round one against Baylor. So hats off to them, and looking forward to the great stuff that they will be doing this year as well. So hopefully you had a safe weekend, a good weekend last weekend as well. I know on tap around the league today. Got quite a few interesting games. So I do, in a little bit, I was trying to wait for Charles, so I'll wait to the end of the show, but I will give just a new segment that when we do a show on Saturday in football season, we do like to give some football context. So I will give my picks of the week in the SWAC. My picks to win this week in the SWAC will come up toward the end of the show. So don't miss that, as I will give those scores. So again, just wanted to make sure we're all here and that everybody is ready and fired up and ready to go. So like I said, hopefully the rest of my crew will get here eventually this morning as they make their way here. But I'm definitely excited to kind of be able to get here this morning and talk the world of what's going on around us. So let me just start with the first thing first. I will, like I said, I'll say my predictions later in the show, but I do want to talk about CDC announcement this week as it approves Moderna and the Johnson & Johnson booster shots. That is key. I know myself, I've been waiting on that as I took the Moderna first time. I didn't want to mix and match. I've been waiting on Moderna booster to come available. So for me, that's just my personal decision. But they released that, and then expected soon in the next couple of weeks is approval of the vaccine and a reduced dosage for ages 5 to 11. So that is huge, because that will mean all school-age children will be able to be vaccinated at that point. So that's crucial. That's critical. Did want to highlight that. It also realigned the recommendation for the existing recommendation for Pfizer boosters. It did say that it's okay to mix and match. So if you had the Johnson & Johnson initially and you wanted to do the Moderna or Pfizer booster, you can do that. So now you will have a choice of which booster you use. I suggest you consult with your doctor on which one is best for you. So definitely want to talk about that and get everybody up to speed on those things. So let me wake you up this morning. I know it's a Saturday morning. A lot of you not up and at them yet, but come on in and join the conversation today and share your thoughts with me. So, right. So we're getting there. So also police officers, I know Kennedy brought this up in her research, and I may just dip back to this once she gets here, but she did bring up some research talking about several police officers that were convicted of rape, murder, and other serious crimes, collecting tens of millions of dollars from pensions. So we're definitely going to highlight that and talk about that a little bit. And then, wanted to kind of touch base on what I call the human spirit again. I think we're still missing the human spirit in America. I think America has gotten to a point where we function in isolations. And when I say isolations, I mean isolations of thought. We are very isolated, not even so much by race these days, but by thought. And that's a dangerous place to be, because when you're isolated by thought, it means you can't hear another viewpoint. And remember, listening to another viewpoint doesn't mean you agree with it, but you can't even make the decision whether you agree or disagree with it if you don't listen. So when you close your ears and when you close your mind from listening, you immediately reduce how effective you can be, because now your view is going to be limited, your response is going to be limited, your actions are going to be limited. And the more and more you do that, the more and more predictable you become and the more and more isolated you become. And so at some point, if you wake up, you become an extremist. That's how it starts. It starts with isolation. Then repeated isolation and occurrence of isolation repeatedly takes you into a point where you will then become isolated in thought and eventually an extremist. And it looks like Kennedy has made it, so let me get her in this morning to join me. Kennedy is here. There she is.
Hi.
Is. Hello,
Can you hear me?
Kennedy.
Can you hear me, Mr. Peters?
I can.
Okay, I'm so sorry for my tardiness, y'all. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? I've missed the Irvin Law family.
I was just teasing everybody. We don't know where Charles is this morning. He was his
Ah.
idea to do the morning call, and I think he may still be holding on to the bed. But so Kennedy, I was teasing everybody earlier. I said, hopefully Kennedy has recovered from homecoming, because I made it into Jackson with the hopes of seeing Kennedy, and she was nowhere to be found. I'm just saying.
Okay. To my defense, I could not remember you saying you were coming, so I really thought you wasn't coming, because I know certain people weren't coming. I was asking around, like, "Are you coming to homecoming? Are you coming to homecoming?" And some people was like, "No, I'm not going to come. I'm going to come to the Alcorn game." So it just was not clicking. I really was, but when I was at homecoming, I'm like, man, I wish I could see Mr. Peters, but I was just like, I guess he's not coming.
Oh, I was in the house. I was one of those 55,000 up in there. So
It was very packed. I mean, like, I've never seen the stadium like that before, if I'm being honest. Ever since my freshman year, I don't think I've seen it like that.
well, you haven't, Kennedy, to be honest with you, because the reality is we haven't had crowds like that since I was in school. We're talking,
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, my dad said that. He said it hasn't
and
been that packed since.
and even then for homecoming, we didn't get that kind of crowd, because the schools we would play for homecoming, they didn't bring anybody, and so this was different. This was 95% of that 55,000 was Jackson State fans. I
Mm.
mean, they were everywhere. Look, I
Very
called my
aware.
seat, right. I said I'm gonna sit at the top, and then they'll be around me. Yeah, right. That didn't happen.
No, yeah, you really thought that. No, yeah. And I sat somewhere. I kind of sat not the I was like at the second tier, but you know when like the band would walk in, so I was kind of in the walkway. But that was the only available seat my friends could get. So I'm thinking this might be a good seat. No, it was like, I mean, when I tell you guys the whole game, people were walking. I thought it was going to stop. No, people was continuously coming in the whole game. So, but it was great. The halftime performance was great. Just witnessing history like that, like it really was amazing. It made me feel like home. I think Yard Fest in the game was probably the best part of homecoming.
Well, tell me about your homecoming experience because really, this is really your first truly homecoming experience.
Wait, besides my freshman year, my
Besides your
freshman year
first,
was yeah.
talk about this year. Um,
Um,
in the midst of the pandemic, this year's homecoming 2021, from a student's perspective, I love to hear that.
it was really fun just to trying to see the school get back to like normal, operations or try to at least. I got to see one of my friends. I don't know if you know him. You probably have, but his name is Frank Patterson. I saw him. He's one of
Yeah,
my
no, Frank, that's
dad's.
my classmate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my dad known too. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, his daughter goes here too. We
yeah.
actually it's kind of crazy. We kind of knew each other, but never really crossed paths. We knew of each other, so
Wow.
I got to see him. I got to see one of my mom's old coworkers, Miss Webb. She's a Sigma Gamma Rho. She crossed that Alpha Tau, so it was really nice to see her. What else did I see? I got to see my little babies from high school. So when I was in a senior high school, I was a basketball captain, and so now that I'm seeing them, they're entering into their senior year, and I was like, wow, you guys are they're kind of taking a little college tour in a way. So it was really fun to see them. The whole homecoming week, it was nice. I think, and I want to say either it was Wednesday or Thursday because you also know President Hudson got inaugurated this week too.
Right, right,
But I
right.
think the day after that, it was like a research synopsis. So I got to see some of my friends who presented like some research. So it was really nice. The rave was nice on Monday. It was a great homecoming experience overall. It sucks with the mask, but you know what? Hopefully we are making it to a normal operation. So it's going to be great. We're moving forward, I will say, when it comes to COVID a little bit. I feel like.
Well, I want to talk about that for a second because I'm seeing some things out there right now. I mean, I know me and my wife, and you'll appreciate this as you're from the Dallas area. So last night, every so often, we'll get dressed up and we'll go out to fine dining and have a good time. Every so often, we'll have that opportunity where my
Right.
daughter's gone doing something. So last night we called it Fabulous Friday because everybody was doing something fabulous. Now, my daughter
Yeah.
was at a concert. Um, you know, and so Marsha and I, we went to eat downtown. One of those
Mhm.
real nice restaurants where you're sitting literally. I'm sitting outside on the patio, and the highway is right there. So I'm right across from Clyde One Park.
Oh, where'd you go?
I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. I get
What was the restaurant, Mr. Peters?
Yardbird. Yardbird.
Oh, you know what? I think I know you're talking about my parents went there too. My parents went out last night too. They went to the Anthony Hamilton concert. Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah. See, we were all us we were out there kicking it last night. So
right.
that the 90 Babies was out last night. The 90 Jackson State alone was out. 70
Yeah.
Babies. We were doing the thing last night. But I was sitting out there and I was like, man, I was like, last week was epic. And I'm still in a lot of ways kind of recovering from it, from that. This the energy, the love, right? And that's the
Mhm.
thing that I knew, right? Just the love of seeing alumni, young, old, in between, future students.
Right.
It was the way it should be at HBCU. I'm very. I do want to echo Coach Prime's sentiment, though. Listen, guys, this violence.
Yeah. It's
You know, I do want to give you a chance in a minute to just say a few words about. I know we lost a student. Um,
it.
this
So
past
based.
week at homecoming, we lost a student at Grambling. We've lost a student at UAPB. Have several others injured. We've had issues around the country at homecoming. not just in the SWAC, but around the country at homecoming. And I think for me, I can remember days when we had homecomings, and it was just that it was we're in a different place right now. So I'm going to I'm going to yield to you to speak on that a little bit in terms of what do you think is causing it and what is driving it and what it's making homecoming, particularly in 2021, coming out of the pandemic, so violent across the country.
So, me being a political science major with the minor in criminal justice, I kind of study theories and reasons why certain people act away or why kind of if it makes sense like a product of their environment in a way. So over the years, Jackson it's a good city. It's the city of soul, but it also economically it has decreased a little bit. It's not really progressing. So sometimes it's not a lot of things to do for young kids. So idle minds lead to, some kids could do illegal things. So I was actually at one of the parties, but I wasn't at that party that night. But it was actually a shooting at the party that I was at, but I didn't know about it till later on. It was shooting outside. So it's just, I guess, it's young kids, but not only that, security guards at these parties aren't really checking these kids. The only place that didn't get shot up that night was grown coming at the convention center. And the convention center, you have to go through metal detectors, so you can't even try to sneak in a gun or nothing like that. But it really is sad. Over the years, it has gotten like that. But as I said, idle minds can lead to a lot of different things. If you don't keep kids productive sometimes or giving them things to do, they're going to lead to stuff that can be tend to be illegal. And so that night, sadly, we really didn't know, but it was at one of these parties, another party, and my friend Marissa is crazy because she actually DM'd me on Instagram. She's just like, "Hey, are you okay?" Because she saw my post. I was at a party. She said, "Hey, are you okay? I'm just checking around." I said, "Yeah, I'm good. How are you?" And she said, "I'm doing great. I just can't find my one friend, Nay." It was a shooting, and when they was running out, they separated. It's come to find out the next morning she found out her friend was actually the student that passed away.
Mm.
So she was right next to her, and then my roommate right over here, she was telling me how she was right next to the student that passed away, and she said how the building is set up is almost like if the bullet hit a wall, it can ricochet. And so it's like, here's my roommate and here's the student. Her name is Deanna Bell, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And she saw her like shot, the gunshot and all, and she said it was very triggering. So it's sad that it happened this way. We actually lost 3 lives. I just know one of them was a JSU student. It's sad, but if I'm being completely honest with you, Mr. Peters, this has happened before. It's been shootings going on before this student passed away. It's now, I hate to say it, and people only start getting serious when it starts really hitting home. I feel as though, if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't see progress happening. I see they're doing stuff, the first couple parties after this, but I don't see it happening because this has happened my freshman year. This has happened in my sophomore year. This has happened now. At the time, this is all Jackson knows of sometimes in our age is just throwing parties. And, people can act out. And a lot of times, they always give us the speech at JSU, this is homecoming, so you need to be safe. It's a lot of people here that you don't know. So you need to watch out and watch your surroundings. It's really sad that she passed away because she was only a sophomore. She was Deanna Bell. She was a sophomore biology major, and she was from Gary, Indiana. So no parent sends their child to school only for them to lose their life. And it's crazy because later on, when I woke up again, I found the news through Twitter that I did not even know Grambling and UAPB was that bad.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I had
UAPB had, I think,
four,
15 shootings or something like
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. UAPB had about 14, 15 shot. I don't know how many were injured or how fatalities, but I know it was a shooting. Grambling was like that as well. And immediately, as soon as I saw that, my internship this past summer was with also HBCU students. So I immediately hit up our group meeting, just checking on my coworkers, like, how are you all? Are you okay? And some of them were fine. She just said it's mentally draining. A lot is going on campus right now. So it's sad. I pray I see some change, but I'm being completely honest with you. I don't see any change.
I'm going to say something to you, and because sometimes we as old heads will say, man, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm just going to be fully transparent on it. It was happening when we were in school.
Wow.
And it was so bad that our senior year, At the beginning of the year, we talking about, the first week of school, like
Hmm.
within the first 2 weeks of school, we lost 4 students.
First 2 weeks of
About
school,
four
Mr.
students.
Peter.
I'm telling you, I kid you not, 3 or 4 students. And
Was this like a welcome back party or something? Like,
yeah, it was like that. Yeah, sure was. And then we lost another student or two at one of the games. And I want to say it was homecoming, but it could have been a not homecoming, but it was after one of the games at a party. Um, and I'll tell you, like, I remember being at a party my freshman year, and they got the shooting, and I remember that bullet whistling by my head, and I told her, I said, just let me get out of this one. I ain't coming back. And I didn't really do parties after that because, or if I
yeah.
did, I had this internal clock in my head because no matter what, craziness always happened after midnight. So I was always gone by midnight. I
Hmm.
yeah, I
No,
was out.
I completely agree. And I never really, I'm not really a party person myself. Really wasn't one on my freshman year either. I would go to a few, but sophomore year, COVID happened. So this year I was like, you know what, it's homecoming. Like I've been trying to go, it's junior year. I'm trying to go to more, parties, make up for memories that I lost. But it's like you can't have fun anymore. You can't be safe anymore, and it's like it almost kind of hopeless in a way. But now today, like I feel like this week, this game, I don't even think they're throwing a party this weekend. I really don't think a lot of party promoters are throwing one today
Yeah,
because they
well,
just know people don't want to come.
they shut down the all extracurricular activities and parties. There could be no parties.
Oh,
Um,
this weekend they did that like
no,
legally,
no,
like
no.
through
When
the.
we were in school, that's how bad it
Oh,
was.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
because it was just. I mean, it was bad. And your dad probably will probably remember some of that. But so it's been going on for a long time. I think, and I think when you get to the heart of it is people don't know how to resolve conflict without violence. That's what it really gets to. And and then when you add that with, I'm just gonna be honest, we keep it real here. When you add that with drinking,
yes.
oh,
Yeah.
and what you typically find um, is you got somebody that's hot tempered. You got now the addition of alcohol. So now your critical thinking is different. Your if you already have a sharp temper, it's even sharper, right? And quick
Right.
to rage. And then you add that with innocent bystanders, right? So because a gun didn't have a name on, a bullet didn't have a name on. So
It sure don't.
then you add that with a crowd. So now, um, that's what has happened. Where back really, if we go back in the days, there wasn't this access to guns, and everybody had guns. You fought it out, and I can still remember having a fight. I mean, really a fight. And then it might take a couple months, but then 6 months later, y'all cool again. Well, people
Hmm.
live, go on, and I think the value that we put on life is different now. And I
It
think
is.
we have a generation now that doesn't put any value on life of others, and so we are seeing it. And but I think it ultimately gets to conflict resolution, and it didn't just start. They didn't learn it in grade school, elementary. They didn't learn it in the home. And I bet you if somebody was to study it, the people that tend to be the catalysts of these incidents, because there's always a catalyst,
Mm,
and usually the catalyst don't get affected.
yeah.
But there's
Very
always
true.
a catalyst. There's always a catalyst that can't let go, that escalates the conflict, right? And so if you were to go back and look at the catalyst of this and go back, I guarantee you will find that there's been signs of this throughout their whole development. And it
It's
never got
how
addressed.
their upbringing. It's their upbringing.
Never got
Yeah,
addressed.
that's we kind of learning that right now in one of my classes for my minor for criminal justice. It's like juvenile justice, um, and it just talks about how the foundation is so important in your upbringing, and like it's called the social learning theory. So if you seeing like if you're growing up and you're seeing people with guns and stuff, And you think that's okay. She said their perception is warped. They are learning it. Yep. The schools aren't the teachers like they used to be. Yeah, it's very true. It's they are learning it. It's literally the social learning theory that we are learning in class right now. When students, I mean kids, are viewing behavior through social media or just um an individual figure within their life, they're thinking that it's okay. So if I'm looking at my mom and dad and they're arguing, or my dad is beating on my mom, I'm thinking, whether I'm a woman or I'm thinking, this is how a man is supposed to love me. And if I'm a boy, I'm like, this is how you're supposed to love a woman, you know? So if I'm viewing somebody with a gun and I'm thinking this is okay, or this is what I'm supposed to do, that then that's how you're growing up. You're growing up to be that image, and it's not like she said. The perception is warped. And like Mr. Peters, the crazy thing is, on Friday I went to a block party, got to shooting again. Like we were in line and I was waiting, and apparently, I guess somebody shot like at the ground or something to clear the line. So we're like, I got pushed into the gate, and so I'm almost like falling onto the metal gates that they do. I'm like almost falling. I'm telling my friend, please do not let go of me because I'm gonna fall, and this is like sharp on my calf. So I'm like, please do not fall. Everybody running in. So we finally getting up, and like we just trying to walk. We're trying to walk away, but we ended up just kind of walking into a party because it was like a big block, but we're just trying to spread away. And so we're like, everybody okay? Like we're trying to figure out everybody okay. Then the music is going on, and I didn't know. Somebody told me apparently they were shooting again outside of the party, but I didn't even hear it because we're trying to check and make sure everybody's okay. And then our friends kind of separated, so they got in before the party. So like we couldn't just leave. Like we had to find them within the party, like see where they was at. So and this happened on Friday. So it's like, and that's what I feel like personally, my homecoming experience, my freshman year was better than this year because it did not end like that freshman year. I really cannot remember a shooting happen freshman year, maybe a fight, but not a shooting. And so it was just like I gave it this experience maybe a 7.5, only because the how it ended. And then it was going to be a who got the juice on Sunday, but the DJ that was going to host that event on Sunday canceled that event, like where the shooting happened. It was at his party on Saturday. So then he was going to do another party on Sunday, but he canceled it. And you could see students on the TL like, oh my gosh, why would you cancel it? Da, da, da. Like, I mean, people get shot every day. I'm like, yeah, that is understandable, but you got to think a student just died at his party. Let's just talk about life right now. Why are y'all concerned about a party right now? He did the right thing with canceling it. And you have to also think in his mind, am I bringing this to, is it me that is causing this? Am I bringing this to Jackson? Like, I'm trying not to, do this. I'm just trying to have fun, but people are shooting at my event. So he did right by canceling it. But it's like she said earlier, like Miss Brown said, their perception is warped. It's sad, but
Well, and
how it
I
is.
think we got a couple of things there we got going on, right? So,
Mhm.
number one, as we look at it, and I'm going to call out some things here. We both know, and nobody said anything about it, but I will. We can't be checking people, truly checking people, and the pat down is a joke. We can't truly be checking people at the end of these parties
Mhm.
because they wouldn't have the firearms on. They just wouldn't. What's happening outside before you get to parties now, that's a problem because now you don't have enough police enforcement out there. So you have it situations escalate. The other thing is you have to look at how things are structured for admittance so you can avoid long lines, so you can get things moving pretty quickly to avoid that chaos. Long line leads to frustration. So there are things
Yeah.
there are things that can systematically be done. And so when I look at it, I look at the NFL games where you still have even more people going, but nobody's shooting up, right? You
Hmm.
ain't gonna do it. You're just not gonna do it. They got it structured in a way. If you do it, they gonna catch you and you going.
Exactly.
Uh, and number two, you're not getting up in the stadium with a gun. It's just not.
Exactly.
So
Right.
I think we have to do a better job of and I'm talking to promoters and people that want to have these events of setting up a safe environment. It can't just be about the money. And I think what happens a lot of times, we want to get people in, we just let people in, have a good time. Look, half of the time, the people that cause the problems are not students at the university.
Literally,
In fact,
Mr.
90,
Peters,
probably
that's
90, 98% of the time.
yeah. The shooter wasn't a JSU student. They caught one of the shooters, but he was not a JSU student.
Right? That's usually all the case. And if you look across the country, that's been the case everywhere. That Now, the people that end up being the victims, they end up being students, but usually the person that pulled the trigger is not a student, not even on campus. But homecoming brings in a lot of good and bad element, right? So we want to talk about that. So I did before you got here. I want to switch gears a little bit, um, but I will want to say this: homecoming as a whole, from the football game aspect, was very positive. I
Very
do want to
great.
give a shout out to our university, some things, and I meant to pen a letter to the AD. I hadn't got it done because I want to see if they fix it. But look, if you ask for 50,000 fans, AD Robinson, you know I love you, but if you ask for 50,000 fans, you cannot only have two gates open.
It was only two gates open.
Yes, it took forever to get in that stadium, and I was there early.
That's
A
why the
lot of
line was so
people.
long.
And then you cannot open the stadium 2 hours before the game if you want 50,000 in the vet. You can't. I mean,
Wow.
you can't open the stadium at 12 o'clock for a 2 o'clock game. That stadium should have been open at 10:30, at the latest 11 o'clock.
She said it was barely two
And
lines.
you've got to open up every gate and plan for it, and so you can get people in quickly and safely. Second thing, open up every concession stand.
Oh my gosh. Ooh,
I
Mr. Pierce,
mean,
I was so
listen,
hungry.
listen. I mean, I just got to call it like I said. It's my university, so I can talk about it. But that was wrong, and that was logistically terrible. And so we can't ask for 50,000 people and then have the logistics to let in 10,000 people. It that math doesn't work, and so that was a failure. That was a failure on the administration. That was a failure on our part. It was a failure to alumni, and so other than that, that's why you didn't see the stadium fill up
Yep.
until about halftime because people couldn't get in the game.
Yep. They couldn't get in the game. And like Miss Brown said, including parking. Yeah, parking was
Yeah,
horrible. Parking was, we had to park near like this back road on Mitchell Road, but it was like in front of an electrical grid. So it was on like a dirt top, rocks and stuff. It was not the best, but I did not know it was only two lines because we have a student gate. So I'm just walking, I'm like, okay, wow.
yeah,
But
no.
the concession stand, I did not get nothing to eat. I really wanted something. I said, I can't stand in this line. By the time I stand in this line, I'm gonna miss the whole game.
Like Miss Brown said, it was barely two lines open. I mean, it was horrible. It was. I was so disappointed in my school with that. I mean, I really was because we know better, and I'm going to attribute that to being that everybody in this current administration was not there in the days where we had 50,000 fans, so they
Mm,
just didn't think about it. But
right.
I do want to see you respond like we do at D with the comeback
Hmm.
and fix it.
Right,
That's all
right,
I'm
right.
asking for. Hey, we all
Yeah.
make mistakes. We all miss stuff sometime. But now that you've seen it, fix it, and we'll be
Hmm.
fine. Because if you think it was fit a lot at homecoming,
Alcorn is gonna
Alcorn keeps
be a
winning. If
fool.
we keep winning, um, it's gonna be 60,000 in there. So,
Yeah.
and I will say this as far as parking, guys. Parking is there is nowhere to put 50,000 people. So ain't nowhere to put 50,000 cars. So here's the reality of what I'm going to tell you. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you students something because y'all different kind of students. See, we didn't have all these
Oh my
cars
gosh.
where everybody could drive and
Here
all
you
like
go,
y'all
sounding like
do.
my daddy. Here
If
you
y'all
go.
don't start carpooling, I saw so many students pulling up in a car by themselves, one or two people. Look, we ain't got that many spots. We got that many spots. Y'all better start carpooling, limit the amount of cars y'all share the parking. You know what I'm saying? Y'all come on now. Look, see, we didn't have that problem because we had to Jack and Jill and figure it out. But we have got to do better with that.
Yeah.
Secondly, get there early. And here's the thing about homecoming. If you drive, if you gonna drive and you plan on parking, you can't go to parade and make homecoming. You got to
Mm-mm.
pick your you
Yeah.
gonna get to the game and have a comfortable experience, or you gonna enjoy the parade and you're gonna pay for it at the game.
Yep.
It's just the way homecoming works because they're too close together.
And I hate to be that person. I'm not even surprised it's not home parking available at the stadium because it's not parking available at the school. So you
Look, I didn't even try. I didn't even attempt to go to the yard on Friday. I didn't even attempt it.
didn't go to Yard Fest?
I did not.
You should have came. It was nice though.
because I didn't get there early enough to
You
get.
could have parked at the ASC, Mr. Peters. It was parking at the ASC. You just had to
Oh
walk.
no! I wouldn't even. I looked at that line. I said, "Oh no, y'all can have that." I went to the office and went to work.
That
So
is so funny. It was a nice yard fest too though.
yeah, but but thank you for addressing that.
Yeah, Miss
I
Brown, she's been in the comments letting us know.
was overwhelmed for their homecoming. Yeah, I mean,
I heard.
homecoming is that. Homecoming is that.
Yeah.
And so in November, on November the 20th, I'm just gonna tell you right now, it's not gonna be no parking, not enough parking. What I saw in parking was the same way it was back in the 90s. You park wherever you can. So I'm gonna tell you how I did it. Get your tail to the stadium early. When I got to the stadium, I had no problem parking. I had no problem at all because wasn't nobody there but tailgates. Get to the
Yeah.
stadium early, park. Here's the other thing. Even if you gotta look, listen to me now. Even if you gotta go park early in the morning before the parade, park your car, have somebody, and then just have somebody drop you off. And you walk in,
Yep.
take your car already parked. See, there are lots of things you can do, but you got to think. You got to think like Jackson State taught you to think. You got to be creative now. You got to be
You're
creative.
so funny. No, you do, yeah. And it's like with parking, it's like, people parking on medians, people parking everywhere. It was funny, but yeah, Uber, you're gonna have to Uber sometimes.
Yeah.
Literally. It was that packed. And I know for Alcorn, like I said, my parents were coming. I didn't even know some of my aunts were coming. She called me, she's like, I got my ticket. I'm like, ticket for what? She's like, I'm coming to Alcorn. She's like, I'm coming to the game. Alcorn Ranch Jackson. I'm like, oh, it's a lot of y'all coming. And then,
Listen,
her daughter finna graduate from high school, so she gonna try to tour the school too. So I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna be an event. So everybody needs to be
oh yeah,
prepared.
it's off the
And
chain.
wear your mask too.
Oh yeah, and on
I
top
wear
of that,
mine.
we winning.
Yeah, we winning too. Yeah,
so
that's why I try to tell people
you
we're winning now. So
so you got celebrities in town. You got it's crazy. I got the personalized license plate in Texas for Jackson
yeah.
State.
Mm.
Man, you can't drive now without somebody blowing bum bum bum. It's crazy. And then when I look over, and I'm always freak out to look over, and there's somebody white that's blowing, and they get on there and they show me their Jackson State stuff, and I'm like, what?
What? How do you know about us? Because sometimes when I used to tell people like freshmen, they'd be like, "Where is that at?" Some of the white people. I'm like, in Jackson, Mississippi. So I just started introducing them like, I go to Jackson State University, located in Jackson, Mississippi. Like before they even say where is it at,
Well, it's
I would
changing
just
now. It's
yeah,
changing because you got
it's
to remember
changing.
when we're on the national stage, which is what Prime did for us. When you push you on the national stage, you got a whole national audience that's seeing you. And I heard there was so many people watching online. The ESPN streaming service had problems.
Yep, it really was, and that's why it's like I don't know. It's just in a way, if you're looking at it money wise, I don't know why we already don't have our own network. But I'm not gonna deep dive into that. But it's not even that. It was like I think the whole weekend, every HBCU game had high streams. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't even just Jackson State. I want to say it was Grambling versus
It was
somebody else. I
all
want to
of
say
them. It was all of
yeah, it
them.
was
Then you
every
gonna try to
single
put them
one,
all on at the same time. Oh yeah, no, don't play us like that.
every
Yeah.
single one. But I do want to shift gears real quick. I don't know if you said anything. So,
Yeah.
what's your predictions for today?
So at the end, we're gonna go through all the games in the swag and make our predictions. So
Okay, okay, okay,
I was
okay.
waiting for you to get here before we do that. But I do want to go back and touch back. We started off talking about the CDC approved the Moderna and the J&J
Yes.
booster shots, which I have been waiting on, and they also approved that it's okay to mix and match,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people were doing anyway, especially the older folks. But I'm happy to get that, so I'm gonna definitely get mine scheduled to get my booster shot, especially
Mm.
before I go to the Alcorn game. Because after
So you
seeing
feel
that,
like you need it, Mr. Peters? You feel like you think you need it?
if I'm gonna sit in a crowd of 50 and 60,000 people again, yeah, I need
Wow. But it's crazy though. Like whenever I'm out, one thing because my parents always like, make sure you wear your mask, and all my friends they know. Once I'm done, if I'm doing stuff wherever I'm drinking some water, whatever, I put my mask on immediately. Like I don't play. Like once I'm done talking, I will literally put it on. Now, obviously, if people can hear me, I'll open it up. To speak to them, but I don't play. Once I'm done, I put my mask on. That's how I've been going so long without COVID. Even in last year, I was not kidding. I was wearing my mask. So, but I mean, I've been doing good, and I tested. For that's one thing I can commend our school. before homecoming started, like to go to the step show and like the raid and stuff like that, you had to get a negative COVID test like 72 hours before these events started. So I tested negative, all my friends tested negative because we always make sure we're just, taking our emergency, taking our vitamins, just making sure we're okay. Now, obviously, you can hear I got a little mucus going on. That's because, the weather's changing. It was so cold Saturday night. It went from hot to just freezing cold. And a lot of students here had a lot of like, now, just regular cold. Like I had to go to the doctor. I had like a little respiratory infection, but I'm good now. So,
That's because
but
y'all
yeah,
didn't listen to the weatherman. See, I listened to the weatherman. I was ready.
I, I don't know. I should have brought a hoodie. I brought a jacket, but I thought it was gonna be, kind of how it is, when it's 70 degrees and Jackson be like, that's.
I'd have been able to find you.
But
If I would have been able to find you on this weekend, I would have told you and had you prepared. But no, I remember walking in, people like, "What you doing with that sweatshirt?" I said, "You'll see."
yeah, it was. I had a perfect JSU sweatshirt too. I should have got it. Yep. They were trying to dress cute, Miss Brown. They were trying to dress cute. And some of them wasn't even have any JSU paraphernalia on. They were trying to dress real cute, just blue. I'm just like, girl.
Look, I saw some of the high heels. I was cracking about.
Yes.
Like, this is what it used to be like. So at least you saw a homecoming that you and your parents can relate to because it's something we've always known. So now you kind of get to see what we experience. And school campus got to be crazy with excitement because that's how it was back in the day. So I was happy to see that. I was happy about the Moderna news. So we're gonna make sure we do that. And the reason why I'm gonna get the booster prep, I like to travel and I like to go. So I want to make sure I got the most protection I can have.
That is very true.
Thing. So if I'm gonna do that, then I've got to make sure that I'm doing everything I can. Number two, I got school age child, so she's in out of school today, and I teach as an adjunct professor, so I'm in front of students. And so one of the things that I've been doing since school started back, every week, just about every week or every other week, I go get tested.
Oh wow!
So they know
but
me.
You know what?
They know me.
It's sad, but you really have to do that now because our governor in Texas does not care. So I'm glad you're doing that. You're taking the precautions because Governor Abbott. We're not gonna deep dive into that, but yeah. But Mr. Peters,
I take the guesswork out. I go get tested. I get a PCR when I go on a trip. So I was in Vegas the week before homecoming. My wife we got a policy, right? So when you go out, I come in. The very next day I'm back. So I quarantine. So I'm upstairs. Everybody else downstairs. Very next day I get a rapid test. 72 hours later, I get a PCR test.
What's that?
The PCR test cleared, then I'm released from quarantine. I get to come back to
what's the PCR test, Mr. Peters?
So the PCR test is a more reliable test. I think it has a 97 to 98% accuracy rate.
Okay.
So it's so you're either gonna take the PCR test or you're gonna take the rapid test, which they test it in a different way.
Okay. All right.
So, but
I'm glad you're taking the precautions, though. Thank you.
Look, I got to do it, right? And so that's my quarantine. So I just got released from quarantine yesterday, so
yeah,
because I'm not going anywhere this weekend. But again, you have to set your own policies, and you have to take care of you first. And so you can't just rely on somebody else to do everything for you.
I agree because that's what me and my friends do. I even do it myself. Like sometimes we're like, okay, it's time for me to just, not hang out with y'all for a minute. Let me quarantine myself. I try to wash, even though I still take a shower before I go to bed every night. I just try to wash my sheets again or Lysol everything down. Just try to constantly clean. Yeah, yes. Precaution is free. Very true. But Mr. Peters, before we shift gears, this is something I really, really wanted to say before, and hope I'm gonna send you this flyer before we leave. I wanted to first, let me share my screen because this is very important, especially in the Jackson area. So let me go ahead. It is a debate. Okay. Well, I don't know how to do that. So for my birthday, I got a new computer. I got a MacBook, but I didn't know I have to go through all these like the software for.
Oh yeah, send me the file. Can you send me the file?
Yes, but basically I do. I do want to talk about it. So it is a debate. It is the Hinds County Sheriff candidate debate on.
Do you have it? If you email me the file over, I'll
Yeah,
print
let me email it real quick to you.
it.
Let
Okay.
me go. Hold on. But it's the Hinds County Sheriff debate. It's going to be held at Jackson State in the College of Business, room 134, on Tuesday, October 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. This is the time to please go out to please come watch this debate just to see if these candidates are, who do you want to represent you in Jackson, because this is very important. I'm trying to email this to you. Let me go to my Gmail. But this is very important. And like Mr. Dr. Irvin says all the time, Mr. Peter says, in order to see real change, you have to go ahead and start at the local level if you want to see fast progress. So it's time to review these candidates, see if you feel like they're good for you, if they're actually going to make a difference, if they care about the community. Um, I am Miss Pre-Law for the Fannie Lou Hamer Pre-Law Society, so we're also going to be there. Everybody at the E-Board, the executive board for the Pre-Law Society is going to be there during the debate. A lot of members from the Pre-Law Society will be there. So it's just, I wanted to mention this just to let you guys know, like, this is very important, and I really hope.
Yeah, send it over and I'll make sure we put the flyer up. And then Dr. Irvin just hit us up and said he did oversleep.
Ah,
I guess he had a long night, so ain't no telling in our world. He might have had to go to the jail in the middle of the night. Who knows what happened, but he had a long night. So he said his apologies, Kennedy, to both of us.
it is okay. Let me try to find. I'm trying to. Sorry, I got a new computer for my birthday, so I didn't like I got a MacBook, but I didn't know it was I had to go through all these steps. I just thought I was able to create the link. So, oh lordy, let me see. You want me to email it to you, or you want me to just send it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
you?
Just however you want to do it. Email it. That's fine. I got my email up, so that's cool.
Okay. Lord, here it is. Let me send it to you. I don't have a. Oh my god. But I really want you guys to please come. It's a great turnout. Also, the room is big enough where you will be social distancing. Obviously, um, you know, obviously, masks are required.
All right, you send it over.
Yeah, I'm trying to send it to you now. Give me just a second. Usually your Gmail pops up when I try to send it, but
So
I
you
gotta
switched
retype
to
it.
that's because you switched to old Mac.
Yeah, I honestly I needed a new computer, Mr. Peters, if I'm being honest with you. And my dad was probably my dad, he's an IT, so he was just like, "Oh, why do you need a new computer?" Da, 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 da. I said, "Okay, Dad." But I really needed one because my MacBook was actually freezing up. And that's why during the shows too, when I would try to um like press pause and stuff like that, it would just be hard or it would delay. So I'm just like, man,
Well,
okay.
why you talking and why you pulling it up, you also had done in your research, and I just touched on it very little about the police officers
Okay.
convicted of rape, murder, and other serious crimes. If you want to
Right.
talk about that a little bit, why you send me that file, that's fine too.
Okay. Did you receive it all, Mr. Peters?
I got it.
All right. So one thing that I really wanted to touch on, guys, that's really alarming to me. Hold on. Was very alarming to me when I was doing this research. I love Macs. Yeah, I do have to learn them. Sorry, Miss Brown. I'm just now learning. I've been had a Chromebook my whole life. I really got to learn how to use a MacBook. But one issue that is very alarming to me that I learned is that a lot of convicted and a lot of officers that have been arrested are still collecting pensions. I'm talking about tens of millions of dollars. Some officers that were convicted of rape or serious crimes in LA was collecting up to $600,000 pensions, and it doesn't make sense to me how you are convicted for a crime yet you are still collecting this money. Okay, here's the flyer, everyone. Also, I feel like Mr. Peters will also post it as well. But please, please come to this debate. It's on Jackson State campus. We're going to be social distance, so please, I hope it's a great turnout. If you have any questions, please don't feel free to DM me or I ask our dean of our department, Mr. Dr. Magnum, if he wants me to like be at the door to direct people. But this is going to be a great event. I really hope so. And this is a time now to really voice your concerns, opinions, figure out if these candidates are good for you and if they're going to make a difference for your community. If you want to see fast change, you have to start at the local elections. So please make sure you attend.
All politics are local.
Yes, all politics are local. So, and please vote too. Voting, please vote. So, I also will be working the polls. I forgot to say that I will be working the polls as well.
Awesome. I'm so proud of you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. But no, I want to go back. It was just crazy and alarming to me how all of these convicted cops are still collecting pensions. And it was concerning because it's like, how can you even hold these officers accountable if they're still collecting dollars off of this? Even Derek Chauvin is collecting money after he killed George Floyd. And it doesn't make sense to me. It was very alarming when I saw it. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Mr. Peters? Because I
Yeah.
don't even know how that's legal. I really don't even know how that's legal.
Well, and maybe that's, let me see, Dr. Irvin is calling. I don't know if he's trying to jump in on that. Go ahead, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts on that. So.
Okay, I'll continue to talk about it. So throughout my research, it was also saying how um, some of the crimes they commit is like these officers, they have been found guilty of sexual and violent crimes, including murder, rape, or other serious job-related offenses such as bribery and embezzlement. Some have admitted to molesting young children. Others have used their badges to enrich themselves or wield power over vulnerable members of the community. Many are still sitting in prison cells, yet they are collecting checks keep coming and will for the rest of their lives, all as taxpayers help foot the bill. So I want to ask the audience, how do you guys even feel about this? Because we're footing the bill. That's how they're getting their pensions, because through our tax dollars. So I love how Ms. Brown is so interactive. Thank you for watching us today. Employee contracts and unions are powerful things. They are very powerful. And it's still, and I get the union and the contracts, but it's just very, like I said, alarming. And I really want to do even more deep dive research or ask, some people within our criminal justice department are former officers. How is that legal? Like, how can you still collect a pension and you were convicted of a crime, a serious crime at that?
Yeah, let me say this. Thank you for doing that research and bringing that up. That's a problem within our system. That's a problem. Now, here's what the unions are going to say. Here's the defense of the union, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they did the crime, but their families didn't do the crime, so we still got to protect their families and all of this. And here's I bet you if you dig deeper, here's what you're also going to find. The rules change depending on what office it is.
Yes, and where it's at, where the officer, like, the police department, because they were saying some in LA, they were saying some where Derek Chauvin, some in Minnesota, some was in Dallas as well. They was giving multiple. It's a video on CNN. You can just look it up, guys. I found it on CNN.
I mean, I bet you if you look right now, I'm telling you, you'd be surprised of how, even though every police officer may be in the union, and I've said this before, they don't all get protected the same.
Collective bargaining. Can you elaborate on that, Dr.?
Oh, yeah, I can tell you. He's going to elaborate, but that's the agreement that's signed. Just like football players have, every so many years, they have to sign a new collective bargaining agreement, or police officers and unions, they sign employee agreements with these employers, and it outlines all these things. I mean, really, that's where the union's value comes in, and that's why people will pay the union fees to be part of a union, because it brings them together and give them much more bargaining power. So they negotiate things like this up front. If this was to happen, this is a contingent that can't be taken from them. If this was to happen, so that stuff is decided up front. And so most people, when I say most people in the general public that are not involved in unions have no idea of the benefits of a union, or no idea of what the benefit, or not the benefit, I don't want to say benefit, or no idea of what the employer union has negotiated in the collective bargaining agreement.
So this is another question that I have. So are unions really only created like for, I guess, I don't want to say public jobs, but like, there's a teacher union, there's a like a police, I guess it's a union within the police department. Like, does every type of employment kind of have a union, if that makes sense, or is just only public job, like jobs, if that makes sense, that
Well,
are
here's what I would tell you. Historically, it's not limited to one type of industry, or public or private. There are unions in both
okay,
sides. I mean, the auto
okay.
industry has unions. If you're in the actor guild has unions
Mm,
in Hollywood. So, but what you will find, you won't find. It's hard to get a new union created now.
mm,
Like it's hard to get a new union created because employers are going to fight against that tooth and nail.
okay.
Whereas if you look at the existing unions that are there, they were started long ago when unions were very favorable and there wasn't as much resistance from the employer side.
Hmm.
But employers don't like unions because it gives the employees more power.
Yep.
They get better
Okay.
the strength in numbers. So Kennedy, it's essentially you trying to come negotiate with me on a better deal. You may have 10 employees, or the union that has 90% of my employee base. So guess what?
Oh,
And so you pay into the union. The union has all kind of provisions set up. So if you have to strike, they can provide your base needs and things of that nature. But if you have to strike and 90% of your workforce is gone, what company can survive that? So
exactly.
that's why they don't like unions, because unions are going to make you pay a certain amount of wages. They really regulate, what you do in that. So if you see it, Walmart has fought unions off forever. They're not having it. Amazon will not allow
Yep.
unions. So your newer companies that
Mm.
are not allowing those unions to form. They are very proactive in fighting against any kind of formation of unions.
Dr. Irvin said unions are the decline because they give the employee magnified power to level the playing field.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Very true. And another interesting fact when I was doing my research, it was also saying how more than 350 officers convicted of felony crimes have already received pension payments or are eligible in the future, according to CNN analysis. Reporters identified the officers using individual member pension data from more than 70 funds obtained through record requests, retirement vesting schedules, and data on convicted officers arrested between 2005 in 2015 from Bowling Green State University, Henry A. Wallace Police Crime Database. Officers convicted of sexual and violent felonies as well as felony crimes committed within an officer's official capacity were included in the analysis. And this is just a snapshot of those eligible for taxpayer funded payments in part because pension data is kept confidential in more than 15 states and now all funds queried are by CNN. Wow. I really did not know that. Like, I was really reading this article at the edge of my seat because I'm just like, how is this legal? It was just, I was watching it because I was I think I was getting my hair done. No, I was getting my nails done. I'm like, hold up. I said, this is what I'm going to talk about on the show. I literally said that.
It's legal because it's pre-negotiated, and that's the power of unions. And so it's also important that if you look as you research and look at what industry you're going into and what you want to do, you need to see if there are unions involved. And I can tell you, I can remember the power of unions even as just doing a part-time job working with Kroger back in the days. Kroger is one of the few grocery
Mm,
stores that had a union. So guess what? Part-timers had health insurance.
mm,
prescription drug benefits as part-time. Well, that ain't happening at Walmart. That ain't happening at Amazon. So those things, but it was the power of the union. Same thing with the NFL, same thing with the NBA. They have their unions for that reason to negotiate and give them bargaining power. Otherwise, if they didn't, the owners would take full advantage of it. So
yep,
the companies would take full advantage. The reason why
exactly.
companies don't like them because it gives them less power. Everybody
Mm,
wants power. So
yep.
that's a cool thing. Well, look, it's that time. It's that
It's
time
that time.
and make the predictions for this week and the games on the slate. So first up, Kennedy, let's see what your football acumen is. As we go, we're gonna start with this game. We're gonna start with the easy ones first. So here we go. Um, Hold on, let me
Miss Brown has been
yeah,
watching us
I
dedicated.
want to see what Miss Brown had to say. Put that up there.
Yes, indeed. The educated unions in Chicago have way more negotiating power versus the Mississippi unions, and that's very true because
Absolutely.
I have my father is from the South Side of Chicago, and I have family members who are educators, and I remember when early when the school year started a couple years back, they were on strike. So they were on strike. They was not playing. So that is very true. Thank you, Ms. Brown, for participating. We did. Where are you located? We need to give you
Absolutely.
a
Where
little
you
gift,
been, Miss
right?
Brown? We need you
Right,
here
where you
every
been?
week.
Every week, very in tune.
So here we go. First game on the slate: UAPB versus Arkansas. My prediction: Arkansas 66, UAPB 3.
I agree because UAPB season hasn't been the best. I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna tell you, UAPB is psychologically messed up in the head. After that loss to Alcorn on Thursday night in prime time,
yeah,
when they were ahead by 26 points and lost by one, they were done.
yeah.
They
They were
checked out
done
for the rest of the season.
mentally.
They
Yeah,
were
they
done.
checked out. They checked
Yeah,
out.
they were done. Yeah. So that was it for them. All right, let's go here. Florida A&M
Florida gonna blow
versus
them out.
Mississippi Valley State University in Itta Bena.
Florida gonna blow them out. But you know what? Let me not do too much because I want. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Valley beat Alcorn this year?
No, they were close. They played last
Oh,
week.
okay. But you
Alabama.
know what? Alcorn should be ashamed because why did you let them get that close to you? And y'all was just SWAC champions, and y'all brag about that so much.
But let me say this, guys. Valley is scrappy. Valley is gonna play you hard. Valley's coach is a blue bingo. Vincent Dancy played on at Jackson State,
I did
so
not
he
know that.
knows hard knows football. That's how you coach him. Valley just didn't have the
They was
talent.
being nice to
Yeah,
Valley.
yeah, they just don't have the talent level yet to compete for 4 quarters, and particularly offensively. Valley has a great defensive line. They compete defensively, but they don't have the talent level on offense. Therefore, I give but FAMU
Ooh,
is
Dr.
making that
Irvin said,
long trip to Itta Bena. Um, and I see that yes, UAP very happy they're getting a check, but they also gonna get a beat down too.
"Ooh."
I don't know why you schedule this game this late in the season if you're UAPB. You schedule
Yeah.
that game at the beginning of the season. But Valley, here's my prediction: Valley will play a very close first half.
Okay.
If FAMU does not get out to Valley, get on top of Valley early, and establish a lead, look for Valley to upset FAMU.
Yep. Dr. Irvin said
Valley to upset FAMU
18.
if they don't get out early. I am gonna play I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon here. Watch me now. Here's the problem. I just think FAMU's defense is better than much better than Valley's offense, and I don't see the quarterback play good enough to make the passes, makes the reads. So I got FAMU over Valley in this game going away in the second half. I got it tight at halftime. I got it exploding in the second half. I got
You
FAMU
know,
by 14.
you and Dr. Irvin always love to oppose each other's views because Dr. Irvin said Valley 18 and FAMU 14. Now, Ms. Griffin said Arkanars play hard to the end. Valley has a good team this year. Okay, y'all better play hard when y'all play us. Talking all that
That's right.
smack.
That's right. Here we go. See, and since we talking about the Corn, they up next. Alcorn versus Texas Southern. This game is in Houston.
Ooh, that's a nice.
Now, go ahead.
I think Alcorn's gonna win this game. I hate to say it, but I think they're gonna win this game.
I tell you what, I am going to do the unthinkable. I know you don't bet against the champion, but I'm going against them. I got Andrew Body, Texas Southern freshman phenom quarterback at home. TSU has been on the road the last couple of weeks. They finally returned home. Alcorn has been in a couple of tough battles. They've been playing close. You don't want to play close against Texas Southern. I got Texas Southern with the upset by 3 over Alcorn.
Why do y'all do this? Why do you and Dr. Irvin do this? Dr. Irvin said Alcorn 21, TSU 10.
Look, it's Alpha and Omega. We're about as opposite as you. So it doesn't surprise me. But I got Texas Southern up and upset. So you track these because Kennedy next. So next week you get to see who.
Right. We gonna look at these comments. I'm gonna look back once the game over. I'm gonna look on Sunday and see.
All right. So next up, This is a big one. Prairie View versus Southern.
Prairie View has always had a good team. I'm not gonna lie. They've had a decent team. At least when I've been in since I've been in Texas from high school and we go to the Cotton Bowl, they've had a decent team. I feel like I just don't I
This
don't know.
this game has a lot of implications because we're talking about the SWAC West, right?
Hmm.
Yes, and see, I told you, Coach Dancy is Dr. Irvin's former student. so,
Wow. I did not
so
even know that.
when you think about the SWAC West right now, you got
Hmm.
Prairie View sitting undefeated in the SWAC
Hmm.
West.
Wow.
They're first place in the
I'm
SWAC West.
surprised.
They're tied for Alcorn in first place in the SWAC West. Then you
I,
have and then you have Alcorn, which is undefeated in the SWAC West.
Miss Miss Brown
Somebody,
said
then
PV got this one.
Southern is right behind them. They got one SWAC loss to Texas Southern, but they undefeated in the West. And so here you go. Somebody got to lose.
But Miss
So
Brown, look,
I,
it's Southern homecoming though. It's Southern homecoming, Mr. Peters. They gonna show out.
well, not necessarily homecoming. If you look traditionally, homecoming is not when football players play their best game because it's too many distractions. You try to stay focused, but somebody gonna be distracted. You just a second off. You just a millisecond off. And you saw with Jackson State last week when they started the game in the first half. They really wasn't. They were not there.
Yeah.
Really were not. It took them a while to get into the game. Now the defense was there.
Yeah. The defense always there. Defense show up
It
every
took
game.
the offense a while to get in the game, and it wasn't until the second half that the offense got into the game. But I will tell you that I just think Southern run the ball too well. I think they're gonna ground and pound. So I can't go against. I can't give Prairie View the nod over here. So I got Southern winning this one.
What, Miss Brown? What's your score predictions for PV versus Southern? Dr. Irvin said 48-44. So he think it's gonna be
All right, and see, I got the reverse of that. I got the reverse. I got Southern winning in overtime against Prairie View.
So y'all think this game is gonna go like it's gonna be a long game? Because Dr. Irvin think it's a high scoring game. You think it's overtime. Miss Brown, what you think? What you think the score gonna be? I think it's just gonna be a nice maybe 28-4. Like I don't think it's gonna be that high scoring.
No, I think they're just gonna ball out. I think they're gonna score. I think because I think special teams is gonna play a big part here.
Okay.
I think special teams and I think turnovers. I think there's gonna be some pick sixes in this game. I think there's gonna be some special returns, run back in this game.
I'm with Miss Brown.
So
I don't think it's gonna be that high.
So there you go. Dr. Irvin and Miss Brown think Prairie View gonna pull it out. I'm thinking Southern's gonna pull it out because it's just hard to beat Southern in Baton Rouge at A.W. Mumford.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. It's just hard.
Robbie, is that you?
Southern in Baton Rouge. And I just I know they got Javon Pass. Yes. I understand that. And I think he's gonna keep him in. That's why that game is gonna be close. But there's an element that nobody's talking about. Southern has the 12th man, which is the band and they fans. And that's gonna come into play in a close game when Javon Pass can't hear the snap count and that crowd is loud and rocking. That's gonna be a problem. Because everybody knows Prairie View ain't used to fans like that, and they ain't used to that kind of noise. So here we go. In Southern, if I was in Prairie View, I get a nod to Prairie View.
You don't think Prairie View not used to it? Because the Cotton Bowl be packed every year.
That's the Cotton Bowl, but they don't.
I mean, not the Cotton Bowl. I'm sorry, but the game when they do it for what's their game called though?
Yeah, that's Cotton Bowl Classic, but that's when they play Gremlin. But that's the only game they got loud in Gremlin, and Gremlin is not Southern when it comes to crowd noise and playing in Baton Rouge. You had a big stadium at the Cotton Bowl. When you talk about being at A.W. Mumford, where they only hold 27,000 fans, and nearly 99.9% of them are going to be Southern, you got a problem. And the jukebox is going to be joking. Yes, I don't know. I got into overtime. I think Southern keeps their SWAC West hopes alive. They win this game in overtime with a last-second field goal in overtime over PV.
You see, Dr. Irvin, I hope you saw him. Oh, yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Pass throws for over 400 yards in the loss.
What?
He throws for over 400 yards in the loss.
Mm. Well, Dr. Irvin, I hope you saw Miss Brown's comment. But also, Dr. Irvin said, yeah, but PV is on a collision course with Alcor.
And that stops today.
What's your next prediction, to Mr.
Here
Peter?
we
Is that the
go.
last
The
one?
last one, saving the best for last. Here we go. Bethune versus D. I love. There is no way on God's greener that I will
Look at that
ever go
record.
against D, even if I should. I ain't going against D. I'm always D. And so even when we were losing, I'm still D. But today, a lot of
They gonna
people are
lose.
calling this a trap game.
Why is that up?
Because they're saying, you know, Bethune comes in here winless. They're 0-7.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think they call it a trap game because they say, you know, it's easy for the team to overlook them.
Mm-hmm. That is true. They got a chip on their shoulder, so they ain't got nothing to lose. They ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I don't think this team overlooks anybody. I think this is a blowout. I think
Miss Brown said 56-14.
Yeah, I think Jackson State wins by a lot, and I think the backups play a lot. So
They should.
I think Bethune is, everybody's saying Bethune has played a good team. Bethune has not played a defense like this. And until you have faced this defense and the pressure of this defense, and Bethune doesn't have great quarterbacks, it's going to be a problem. The defense
I don't think
scored 2 touchdowns themselves and a safety. So
I don't think people realize how good our defense has saved a lot of our games this season.
Right.
A lot of our games this season.
Yes.
They have won our games this season. And the first one was the Orange Blossom Classic. They won that game for us.
No doubt about it.
So I shout out to the defense. They're always doing good, always holding us down. I always say it. I even say it on Twitter. Defense always holding us down. Yeah, they think they can run the ball, but with our linebackers, they can. With Aubrey Miller, oh yeah, they can. And I went to middle school with Aubrey, actually. Aubrey has always been
in Memphis, yeah.
Yep, I went to middle school. Aubrey, he's always been athletic like that. Always, he always played basketball, always played football. You know, when you see students sometimes, like, yeah, they finna go to the league. I'll never forget, like, yeah, he probably finna go to the league, or at least he gonna get a football scholarship. I already knew, and his dad has always been supportive in his life like that. Every game, loud and with a Miller shirt on the back, so you know it's his daddy. And he's a Q, so yep, he is a Q.
There you have it. So
yeah,
listen, there you have it. There it is.
Yep, Miss Brown said it right there. I'm gonna leave it right there for the rest of the show.
That's true. Look, there's an old saying about every coach defense wins the game, offense. So,
yep.
And we can look at our record and see that panning out. So there you have it, Kennedy. That's the predictions for today. Jackson State is on BET Plus. It's on the Jackson State Sport Network at 1 p.m. I know, Kennedy, you're gonna be in the house at the game. So, you know, look, if the stream go down, I'm gonna have to call you. So have your phone charged.
I'm gonna be wearing my pink shirt. Make sure y'all wear y'all pink shirts, y'all. Pink out today.
Breast cancer awareness. Definitely wanna. Oh man. Well, we definitely should have had a good friend on the show. I'll see if I can try to get on the show for next week to talk about breast cancer survivor.
Yeah.
So we want to definitely do a tribute to them because I know a lot of families. I mean, probably
1 p.m. Dr. Irvin. 1 p.m. The game at 1 p.m. today.
1 p.m. Boy, you tell he overslept. He don't even know what time the game is. He just all out of whack today.
Oh my gosh, y'all are so funny. I can't take both of y'all.
Just like his predictions are off.
All out of whack.
But Kennedy closes out.
All right, y'all. So this was a great show. You know, we had it on a Saturday, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We're glad that we had a good audience today. Thank you. Shout out to everybody viewing it. Shout out to Ms. Brown. And yeah, y'all have a great weekend. Be safe and mask up.